Hello, and welcome to this edition of Central Connecticut Now, the program that brings you closer to the newsmakers of our region and the newspaper reporters that cover them. I'm Mike Schroeder, editor and publisher of New Britain Herald and Bristol Press, and today my guest is James Drzewiecki, managing editor of the Bristol Press. How are you, James?
Good, how are you?
I think I just saw you a few minutes ago in a different venue.
Yes.
Well, we're here to talk about what's going on in Bristol, as you might guess.
Yeah.
And I know that you've got your finger on the pulse of what's going on there.
Oh yeah.
So, tell me, what are the big issues that are in the news now for the city?
Route 6.
Route 6.
Which is not a city project, it's a state project where they're digging up the road. And it's causing a lot of, pain to some of their businesses on there. So we are gonna, we're doing a story on that. Besides that, as for issues, not so much issues as things that are coming up is the election and of course the continued development of downtown.
It's a local election year.
Yes.
So there's plenty coming that direction.
Mm-hmm.
We just haven't seen all of it yet.
Well, the Republicans and the Democrats have announced both of their candidates. They're coming, they're going to be on the ballot. So we'll see. We'll see how November treats either party.
Well, let's go back to each of these issues.
Yeah.
Route 6.
Yeah.
It's a partial widening
Yeah.
and a reconstruction a bit.
A little bit. So what happened was, I guess the utilities, when they built the road, the utilities were too shallow. So now they have to dig them up and put them deeper, I guess, down on the road. So that's what they're doing now.
Which is dragging this project on.
Right, and they're hoping, well, they said they're going to be done by fall of this year. But I believe it was supposed to be fall of last year. So a lot of people don't like it, as you know, nobody likes traffic, especially.
And they're getting plenty of it.
Right.
More than they've even gotten used to.
Yeah.
Now, so are they saying fall this year?
Fall this year, yeah.
It should be done,
Which
means like the end of November.
Yeah. So it should be all set. So we could stop taking, I usually take a back road to get onto Route 6, but I avoid the construction as much as I possibly can.
Now, one of the things that they're dealing with Route 6 is the businesses that are affected by it.
Yeah.
And I hear the complaints are hot and heavy now.
Right. So one business in particular was Lipo.
Yep.
Chinese restaurant around the
sure.
corner. And they are just not happy with the construction and the noise and, not being able to get to them easily, and
These
stuff
are all
like
the
that.
things they've told our reporters, right?
So they're not happy with it. Some of them, it doesn't bother. It depends on where you are on Route 6 because it's not all of Route 6. So you have like a place like Dee's Laundry.
Yep.
They're more on the edge of it, so it doesn't really affect them.
Got it.
So it doesn't really affect them. And then, you have like Stevens Automalls up there.
Yep.
They're in the thick of it. And of course, the ShopRite Plaza is in the thick of it because it's right in front of them.
So there's nothing good of this coming. It's seen by some of the businesses up there.
Right. It's a pain for them, but in the long run, once they get this all said and done, I think it's going to be, fine. It's going to be nice.
What's supposed to be the benefit of what they're doing?
It's like widening the road.
Okay, so is there going to be another lane?
Yeah, I believe so. There's another lane going in.
So it should move things around that corridor a bit faster than we're used to seeing.
Right.
So, well, hopefully we'll catch up at Christmas, right, on this one.
Hopefully it'll be done by then. That would be a great Christmas present for Bristol.
Well, in downtown, we've seen the opening of the Bristol Healthcare medical office there.
Right.
A big facility, right?
It's huge, yeah.
And with new parking downtown, and a lot of new people that downtown hasn't seen in a long time.
Right. So that business that building is extremely busy. So they opened up last month, and ever since then, I mean, it's been packed down there, especially in their parking lot.
Now, my understanding is that there's been consolidation of a lot of Bristol Hospital facilities around town into that new complex.
Right.
And so we've got little pockets all over the place that are a little emptied out now.
Right.
But I've been also been told that nothing of any big extent has been opened up as this consolidation is going on.
Right. So their goal is not to leave empty buildings all around the city. So basically, they're moving things into that new building, obviously, but they don't want to leave like empty buildings. But if they do, you know, when their lease comes up, they'll decide whether or not, all right, we're going to stay here or we're going to move them over there. So it's a bigger thing, and their goal is not to leave these little empty buildings everywhere. But it also, their goal is to use that new building to their advantage.
Well, I know the great thing about this building, which is at the corner of Riverside and Main Street, right? That kind of corners out.
Yeah.
That they have some facilities in there for the public.
Right.
I mean, that are beyond just medical stuff, like a nice little deli lunch counter deal.
And a Starbucks.
And a Starbucks, yeah.
Right in there in the lobby. Now, with that building, is the entrance you see on Riverside is not the main entrance. So if you
Right.
go to the building, you have to go, there's Hope Street.
Yeah.
Go into Hope Street because that's the main entrance.
And that is a new street, right?
Yeah, that's the brand new street.
It's kind of built out, that area, which used to be the downtown shopping mall, right?
Yeah, back in the day.
That has been all redesigned. Basically, a footprint of roadways has been put in, and there's already been commitments on new businesses going into those areas, right?
Right, so if you're from Bristol, there's something we call the patch, which
Yeah.
is the patch of green grass right near the hospital building. It's on North Main. That's going to be a restaurant.
Yep.
So Tobacco and Sons are partnering with their investment team and working with, it's Francesco's in Hartford, him to open a restaurant right there. So
And
that would
that's
be
really
huge.
the first named commitment, right?
Well, yes, and then there's the other one where right now it's just parking across from our office on
Yep.
Main Street, which will be retail and apartments.
Well, this is why, in some ways, we're very interested in this particular development, since it's literally out our front window.
Oh, yeah. We saw that hospital building from start to finish. I mean, we saw them build it from start to finish, and, you know, we're looking forward to seeing other things go down there.
And they really did do a nice job. And you know, we were there for the grand opening, and floors of open, airy, very modern space.
Yeah.
That is
It's a
very inviting.
Beautiful building. So, yeah, it's great.
And my understanding was that they had, you know, the grand opening was like on Friday, and they had patients in there on Monday morning.
Yeah.
So it's already in use,
Yeah.
and it should be a real addition to downtown.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It really starts
The start of something new,
Yeah,
right?
because you have like the Pine and Plate now,
Yep.
which is on Main Street. Then you have the hospital building. You have another restaurant going next to that. Then you're gonna have retail and apartments next to the hospital building. So it's a huge deal because for so long there was really nothing going on down there. It was just a bunch of seagulls in an empty parking lot. You know, even when the mall was there, it was still an empty parking lot with seagulls.
There were probably more people on the first day in that building than there were in the mall.
Yeah.
In the waning years of the mall.
Well, that mall was mainly used for people to walk around. So, like, people who were retired would use that mall in the wintertime to walk around it for exercise. But there really wasn't else going on in that mall.
Well, it's good to see that we finally have some good things that are in there now.
Yeah. Oh, and then this past Saturday, Better Half Brewing, another brewery in Bristol, has opened. So that's part of the new downtown. So now we have two. We have Better Half and we have Firefly.
It's this grand expansion of microbreweries.
Yeah.
You know, we've got, you know, in the last, I guess the last 2 years, 2 have opened in New Britain, 2 have opened in Bristol, and all of them are expanding. You know, I know that some of them are already canning their beer and making capital commitments on expanding their plants.
Yeah, because Firefly you could pick up at, you know, package stores anywhere really.
It sounds like that there is no end to the beer trail, so to speak.
No, I think that's just
I
gonna
think
keep
even
growing.
I believe that there's even a beer tour that's out of Bristol.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, I think it starts at Firefly.
Yeah.
They drive. Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost it's a state tour.
Yeah, because you have Shabine and Woolcut, and then you have like Witch Doctor, Relic. Yeah, there's a lot of them. 5 Churches in New Britain. What's that other one? Alvarium?
Alvarium.
Yep,
that's it.
another
Yeah.
one. So yeah, that's definitely a growing business. And it's
Was there
really-
ever a brewery in Bristol historically?
I don't think so. I could be wrong though.
Yep. Yep.
But I don't think so.
But it's certainly open to, and we won't even talk about the like Pie and Plate that is kind of focused on a nice bar environment with a huge selection of beers.
Yeah.
And that seems to go along with almost every, every bar and grill, restaurant in the area.
Yeah. I mean, anything new downtown is fantastic, and I think in the, past 2 years, past 2-3 years, we definitely have been making, the politicians have been putting the right foot forward and development down there. So I grew up in Bristol, so it's actually really nice to see downtown, my hometown downtown, being built up.
Yep.
Because I just remember it with just a mall and a McDonald's.
Yep.
So it's nice to see something new finally.
Well, I also understand that the economic development folks in Bristol are really working hard to try and sell the open, not sell, but sell the idea of reopening and leasing out some of the open spaces on Route 6.
Oh yeah, they're always working hard because, you have a few empty buildings. So now we used to have a comic book store on Route 6. Now that's in St. Irving's. He moved from his location, and then Dee's moved into his location. Staples is gone, so I know that's something that they want to get something in.
A good sized
But
opening.
it's so big inside, and most retailers don't need that amount of space anymore.
Right.
And it's such a big building. And then the other one is like the Blockbuster building,
Yep.
which has been empty for a long time. And they're really, well, they have a private real estate agency working on that, but that's also, they're trying to move that too. But again, it's kind of like the same thing. These are large spaces. So you'd probably be better off, I know, in my opinion, is kind of dividing these spaces up. But I mean, they are trying to work hard to make sure that, no empty spaces are left.
Yeah, and cutting them down to size allows you to charge less expensive rents and bring more variety of businesses in.
Right.
So, but once they come, for the most part, once they come in, they stay.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of turnover with new businesses in Bristol.
No, not really. So there's a lot of businesses that have been there for a while. I mean, like on Route 6, a couple of them is like Moe's has been there for a while now. Savers, Ocean State, all these places have been there for a long time now.
Yeah.
Price Chopper.
Price Chopper.
Yeah.
And anything going on with the Sonic? That Sonic?
Not that I know of right now.
Well, we can always hope for another drive-in.
Yeah, I would like
Can't
that.
have too many drive-ins.
No. And I hope they get something like a food place in there again. I hope it's a Dairy Queen. So here's hoping. Put a Dairy Queen in there.
Yeah.
I don't know what camera to look at, but put a Dairy Queen.
We're sending a message out there. Are we starting a campaign? the petitions will be in the paper soon.
I would like a Dairy Queen. Just,
Yeah, let's just make it clear.
Yeah.
So we've got an election coming up.
Yep.
We've got a mayor that's going to be going for a second term.
Yep.
Ellen Zappo Sasso.
Yeah.
And in case you're unclear, she's the Democrat, and there is a Republican candidate.
Yeah, Dante.
And what's his background?
He's 23 years old. I believe he went to business school, but he has a lot of ideas how to better Bristol.
Okay.
So he's younger, but I mean, so was Erin Stewart when she,
Sure. Sure.
ran for mayor. So, I think as we get closer to November, things are going to start heating up, and we're going to see exactly both sides and both where they stand.
We found that a lot of the mud gets slung in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You can almost count on watch your mailbox.
Yeah. Those
for
letters will
the
flood.
letters or postcards
Yeah.
that are going to be give everybody something to talk about.
Yeah. So,
What's the big difference between the candidates?
I'm not sure yet. I'm
Yeah?
not sure what entirely what Dante stands on right now. But once he starts campaigning a little bit more and stuff like that, and we get closer to it, then we can start forming like who is for what. But I think the whole thing is they're both for the same thing, and that thing is to always better Bristol.
Yep.
So it's going to get down to like the details.
Now, because we've still got, we've talked a lot about downtown, a lot about Route 6. Then you start talking about the area out near ESPN, that direction. In recent years we've had the new hotel.
Yeah, DoubleTree.
Which is probably the best hotel in the region.
It's very nice, yeah.
And but ESPN is always kind of an iffy thing because things have changed.
Definitely.
They've discontinued the print publication, which they had just moved up here in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And that's a kind of a unique circumstance. But at the same time, it's a very competitive environment now. ESPN used to be it.
Yeah.
Now you've got everything from MLB Network to NHL Network
NFL.
to NFL Network and the independent Yankees Network and
Yes.
everybody's has found that can be a profitable niche for them.
Yeah.
And it's driven up the cost of buying rights for programming and that kind of thing. So ESPN is not necessarily the diamond it was in the Disney realm.
Right.
But it's still very profitable.
Yeah.
And it's still a huge employer for Bristol and the greater Bristol region. I believe that the last time I looked that they paid 25% of the property taxes in Bristol. So they're very, very important.
Yeah. So if something ever happened at ESPN, then that's very bad for Bristol.
Well, we add that to Bristol Hospital.
Yep.
Which has rebranded itself as Bristol Health.
Bristol Health.
And you've got those two major employers have, I think, easily 6,000 to 8,000 employees between them.
Yeah.
Right here. And if you've never had a chance to take a look at the ESPN campus, it is really a self-contained city right there. So we've got, there's still the underpinnings of a very good economy, as well as growth in niche manufacturing, and some of the things the whole region has been known for years, right?
Absolutely.
There's still some question about now I understand that there has been some attraction to the old ball bearing plant, the new departures, the office building, where they now have a lot of call center operations going on.
Right.
So it's not just manufacturing operations. There's a lot of different other kinds of segments that Bristol attracts.
Oh, yeah. And they could put them in those empty buildings. You know, you just got to get creative with your spaces.
Yep.
And I think they're willing to do that. So.
Now, I don't know if there's any updates about the old Webster building at the end of Main Street.
The Chamber one.
Yeah, the other direction.
Oh, that's where.
Across near where our building used to be, further down. That has been empty for a little while now.
The
office building.
Oh, yeah, I know, right near the Walgreens, right?
Correct.
Yeah, there was some talk that they were maybe move City Hall there, but the proposal they had, they just decided not to go with it. But I don't think it's off the table yet. So
they seem to want to put City Hall everywhere.
Yeah.
Every time you turn around, it's someplace else.
Yeah, but that was like the prime candidate for it. And then the Boulevard was too, but that's going to be the Arts Man.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the old Memorial Boulevard School.
Yeah.
Which is now going to, like you say, it's going to be a magnet school for arts.
Yes.
And that's a big switch for Bristol. I don't know that has there been a magnet school in Bristol before?
I don't believe so. So I don't think so. So this is something different, something new. And they definitely. They put out a plan to see what they're doing, but they can't change too much because it's a historical building.
Yep.
So they got to kind of keep it the way it is, but they can still update like the front of it or something. Yeah, right there. I saw
Well, the
pictures
hope is
for
that
it.
they're also going to use that auditorium
Yes.
as a really stage for performances for the community and for all kinds of arts activities.
Right. I mean, that would be fantastic if we could get like big names to come there.
Yep.
That'd be great for Bristol. And they can enjoy the new breweries and restaurants downtown.
What was the biggest name of any entertainer that's ever been in Bristol?
There's been a few because Lake Compounds used to do concerts.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So what was the one with the two twins? There were singers, and they got caught lip syncing, and then they get back. They got caught at Lake Compounds.
Nilly Vanilli.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's
it.
right.
Yeah. So there has been some big names, and I don't think Lake Compounds does it like they used to, but.
Yeah, well, you can hope that some of that's going to come back.
Yeah.
And we've still got the Bristol Blues
Yes.
are still hanging in there.
They are.
And
Little League starts next week.
yep,
So
the
softball
regional playoffs.
Yeah.
Right. So
is huge for Bristol.
there's always something going on here.
Yeah, it's never boring.
And so, nobody, I believe, is looking very hard if they say there's nothing to do in Bristol.
Right.
So it's a very interesting place to be these days. That we will soon be seeing these things come to fruition.
Yep.
And I think you can count on you guys covering them.
Absolutely.
We've got 3 reporters in Bristol, right?
Yep.
Along with sports, which I think is also one of the best sports sections you're ever going to see.
In the whole state.
Maybe
in all of New England.
I think that's a safe bet for a local newspaper.
It's very
I
good.
think so.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you bringing us up to date on what's going on in Bristol and at the Bristol Press. Mm-hmm. We'll see you again, certainly.
Yes.
And I hope we'll see all of you again soon when we bring out another edition of Central Connecticut Now. Have a great time and enjoy Bristol and New Britain.